Now, the little ticker time thing starts going someplace, and this means we're on. When we get to the halfway point, I'll show you, you touch this, it turns to a circle, we change the name of the file that shows up, and that's how you get ready for the second. So we'll just do that, we'll walk you through that. Since this is going now, I'm going to get it underway here.
Yeah, and feel it bounce off of people and
And I'm going to get ready to do the sandwich.
If you or anybody is going in there, I'd like to order something for those stairs in my waist. I have that, and the potatoes, they have the egg. Yeah, but tell them I got the eggs, scrambled partners and rock. And if you give me some extra butter, I'll be happy. I got some money for you.
So let me go take care of that.
Right, right.
No.
Low tie.
Go. Well, we had a good time.
Yeah,
Did you enjoy it?
I did. Yeah, really.
Oh, maybe your mommy thinks that eggs aren't as black. There's two there.
That should be the closest.
EPT, as we used to call it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess wheat toast and they got some strawberry jam or grape jelly. You think this is enough? You need some more?
It should be.
If it's not, I got it.
And he goes for those long years. Sometimes he's really like this. And people would say, like, oh, you're Kiwi's son.
Yeah.
These people like to like say, you know.
Right.
Yeah,
Was she there at that one? Oh, good for him.
No.
That's what I was on.
Yeah. And anyway.
Legs aren't strong for him, which I was kind of like,
In fact, at Ashamote, he ran, and it was
Yeah, also.
yeah.
I don't want to be based.
Yeah.
So,
How are you?
yeah.
Yeah. So no, I haven't seen her once.
She just came out with a book. She said, on the 17th, like, time of year. She's doing it again in January.
Jake's never been out of the Golden Gate Park Seniors. It's the biggest one of all the cities. Yeah, horse place.
Was that enough or do you need some more?
That's
No, we got it.
where I sing downstairs when you used to
And you know, I
bring the
brought a
horses
whole
in
bunch
at
of
noon.
stuff for your giveaway and I forgot to bring it. So next
Put them
time.
there, and then they could go make the reports.
Figure this
I'll get
out.
it next time.
On full. Yeah.
So Sharon, am I framed? Am I framed? Am I framed? Do 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 do. You'll find it cheaper. You pet keeper. All right. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. I sing sometimes. Oh, Mr. Pond, grand to have you here. Let me get my glasses on. We will begin with the honorary Jack Foley sandwich. Would you kindly shuffle, just cut, and we will find out who is the righteous receiver of the Jack Foley honorary sandwich. And who is, oh, can't be number 10, that's me. I already had dinner. Did we have a 26? I don't think so.
No.
How about 2?
Jane.
Jane? Jane, you are the winner of the evening's honorary Jack Foley Sandwich Award. Kindly come forward and take the envelope, please.
What is the Jack Foley sandwich?
Jack Foley gave me a bunch of money. They wanted to thank me for having him here. And I just said, I'll do this instead. So I'm giving it away. Oh, I need that, the orange thing. It's $15, so you can get something to eat. Yeah.
Thank Jack Foley for that. On the agenda this evening also, ladies and gentlemen, whether or not you're listening, these little pieces of paper
which are the actual size of the graphic that I got, I'm sorry to say. But the clearer copy is here. It says 12/12/19, 280 Turk Street, 5:30 to 8 p.m. It is a street sheet celebration, the 30th year. It's a free show. They have food, drinks, features, and an open mic. The details are here. They might be hard to read, but they are clear, and I have other ones here. And this, in case you don't understand the details, this will be here for you to copy those. And
That's online too, isn't it?
it was. That's where I found it. I saw the graphic, and then I copied it out and distributed it here. This is the checklist. I'm not going to go on with this because, I mean, I don't go into the details. Welcome to Sacred Grounds with me as the current host of this, the longest running open mic in the known and unknown universe. Serving up good food and fine poetry since 1972 or thereabouts. Please support this reading by enjoying the food and drinks served here. That's the way we make our way. Give Teddy a hand back there. I think he's still back there. Is he back there with him? Give him a hand back there. There he is. He's bending over the stove making something for somebody. Remember to keep the time level just 4 or 5 minutes. I think today will be, we'll probably be able to do the 5. That's like, it's not densely packed because of the rain. Actually, there is no rain. Why? So, get your 5 minutes in there, and we have various ways of being informed of how we are here and things like that. There's an opt-in email list. There's the YouTube place where Mr. Natural, who has set up the video streaming, has everything go, so that's the link for that. The ongoing thing is never doubt that a small group of committed citizens can change the world. It's the only thing that ever has, and that's by Margaret Mead. And there are many historical examples of that, which I won't go into because some are good and some are not, and some are just controversial. I mean, think about Est. Est started with 4 people.
What?
Scientology started with 2. And the interesting story about Scientology was L. Ron Hubbard. This is true. He was writing a science fiction story, and he wanted to create an alternate world with a religion. So he was at a writers' conference, and all these people gave him ideas. He wrote them up and put it into the story, and then the story became fiction and where we are right now. I didn't believe that, but then I read a couple of places, and that seems to be the story that most people take. Anyway, so there you go with that. Can I have the sign-in sheet? Because I need to do a couple things here. Yeah, sorry about that. I usually have someone else do this. So the evening's theme is Spuckle, S-H-P-U-C-K-L-E, and David E., who suggested that said it can mean anything. He did have a meaning last week, but I can't remember what it is. Sharon Scott Kish and Beth are the co-pilots of the evening. Mr. Rubino is our keynote. The last word is Guy. And our mini feature of the evening is the mighty Britt Peter. So give all those people a round of applause. And Richard Sandero and friends are the features this evening. Give them a round of applause. They're back over there someplace. He has it all arranged and we have it all figured out. He knows what he's doing, even if I don't know what I'm doing. Except I'm standing up here. Let's see, there's anything else I want to say? Am I blue? No. Be advised that although we record the evening, if an audience member wishes to do so, please ask permission. We will assume you have done so, just to keep things cool. We conclude by 9:50. That's Teddy's deadlines when we take to the street, and there you go. So I'm going to sit down, and I think we'll have Mr. Rubino come up here in just a moment. Mr. Rubino, give him a round of applause, please. Come on, I want to hear it. My old ears don't work anymore. Oh, yeah, let me just make sure. Oh, yeah, he's good.
For the keynote, I'm going to read excerpts of 2 prose pieces, both of which struck me as having beautiful and powerful poetic sensibilities. The first one is from We Are All Migrants by Mohsin Hamid. It was in the August 2019 National Geographic. All of us are descended from migrants. None of us is a native to this moment in time, which slips away, has slipped away, is irrevocably lost, except from memory. To be human is to migrate forward through time. The seconds like islands where we arrive castaways. Over the course of a life, these migrations through the seconds accrue, transform into hours, months, decades. We become refugees from our own childhoods. We all experience the constant drama of the new and the constant sorrow of the loss of what we've left behind. It is a universal sorrow and a thread uniting and binding our species. We move through time, through the temporal world. We move through space, through the physical world. We move when it is intolerable to stay a moment longer. We move because of environmental stresses and physical dangers and the small-mindedness of our neighbors. And we move to be who we wish to be, to seek what we wish to seek. Ours is a migratory species. Humans have always moved. That is the central challenge and opportunity every migrant offers us, to see in them the reality of ourselves. The following is from October 2019 issue of the Sun magazine and was excerpted from a book called Pale Blue Dot by Carl Sagan, who was inspired to write it when he saw an image of the Earth taken from 4 billion miles away and 32 degrees above the ecliptic plane in 1990 by the Voyager 1 spacecraft. The photographic image caught Earth in a scattered light rays, the planet appearing as a tiny point of light, a crescent only 12 1/100ths of a pixel in size. This is what Sagan wrote about that image. Look at that dot. That's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you love, everyone you know, every human being who ever was, lived out their lives. The aggregate of our joys and sufferings, thousands of confident religions, ideologies, and economic doctrines on a mote of dust suspended in a sunbeam, a very small stage in a vast cosmic arena. Our posturings, our imagined self-importance, the delusion that we have some privileged position in the universe are challenged by this point of pale light. There is perhaps no better demonstration of the folly of human conceits than this distant image of our tiny world, a lonely speck in the great enveloping dark. It underscores our responsibility to deal more kindly with one another and to preserve and cherish this pale blue dot, the only home we've ever known. Thank you.
And when you read something by someone else, I hand this to you so that I can get the attributions for those things. Thank you. And Jane is next. She is actually number 2 on the list, but we don't have a number 1, so we're going right to Jane. Give her a nice round as she comes up here. Okay, I'll take it. I'll get it.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, I think I did something to that. Oh. Sorry. Can you hear me okay? I just wrote this. At the Jerome Rothenberg reading, what do you do when someone sits in front of you at an event? Every time they move, you have to move. Are they doing this on purpose? Now he tips his head. No way I can see around it. His big head, short black hair perfectly trimmed, pointed ears, the devil incarnate. Goya's images of war appear. Some die for nothing. Mirrors of mortality, many-faceted death. Just wait it out. The event will be over soon. We can all peel off. I go down to the street, and I'm blinded. I'm that deer in the headlights.
Excuse
Excuse me, can we keep it down just
Thank
a little
you.
bit?
Hey, keep it down, keep it down.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is new also. The title is, Has Anyone Come Back to Tell Us About This? When you are dead, do you know you are dead? Can you see people gathering around? Or maybe they won't. I got old before my time because I did things that were safe, choosing the road straight ahead. No U-turns allowed now, or I will get stuck on the median. Everyone passing by on all sides, alive and well, not noticing. And just one more. And this is from a chapbook that I printed myself. This poem is dedicated to my a brother of mine who died from AIDS in 1992, a long time ago. Hereafter. In the hereafter, everybody came in from dead so black you could never see it. In death, everybody came in from white so light you could never see it. In the hereafter, everything is so blue, a bright, clear aquamarine, so clear you can drink out of it. In the hereafter, every day is sunny, so yellow you can drink it in. Get some perspective. Death so close, in clouds so full of rain they could burst. So far away, in a sky so gray, it doesn't matter. Remember the good things. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, a rare treat. Thank you. D. Allen. D. Allen. And who's after D? Avachi. Oh, Avachi's after D. Are you going to get on the mic? Everybody, let's
You better get on the list. You better go. Get on there.
Okay, hold on. He's trying. Yeah, there we go.
I think a lot of y'all in this room know what this is.
Yes.
Yes.
Woo! And half the room is in it.
That's right.
True story. From pages 20 to 24, this is called Without Teeth, originally written on Hurricane Katrina anniversary 2010, Without Teeth. 42 years ago, his precious life was snatched from us. The will of assassins, inert black flesh. A sudden rifle blast ripped through the early April Memphis morning, then through him, the peacemaker. A world based on total equality remained a dream in stillbirth. His life stolen by parties unknown, given to the dark abyss. His body given to the cold ground. His dream left unknown generations thereafter. 42 years later, the pin drop is the only sound heard over an enveloping silence. No one really mourns for him. No acknowledgement of his untimely demise, his life work done in vain. Candles aren't lit for the son of Atlanta's soil. Activists have given the integrationist of yore the collective brush off. A national holiday commemorating his birth occurs every January, and it's just another day off from slaving away for teachers and bosses. Yes, he's been to the mountaintop without us. Yes, he's had a dream, and yet no one knows what that dream was or for whom. The sum of his achievements on his earthly plane are reduced to 4 or 5 simple words, 2 phrases carrying little meaning to the average person's now. I have a dream. I've been to the mountaintop. His other phrases, traits, clearly forgotten, lost in the dissonance of those same 4 or 5 words repeated like some holy mantra in most minds of his generation. Anti-war, anti-imperialist, pro-worker, poverty's enemy, third world insurrections advocate, mouthpiece against this Western Empire. That man is never spoken of in establishment circles. That man was neutralized before his work could take fruition. That Georgia preacher's son would have fought back if tested hard enough. Liberals, conservatives, white Christians, corporations, praising to the sky. The peacemaker today would have called him troublemaker yesterday. So much easier to give accolades to a man of peace long after he's dead.
Speak on it.
Accolades shouted out loud to the great 20th century black Christian myth of a saint, a nonviolent man, a once living dream of racial tolerance, a leader who ignored internecine wars elsewhere, an American black hero without teeth. Safe in contrast to other black heroes of the past, starting with shrewd insiders of slave revolts from Ghana to Haiti to the Amistad, continuing through today's political prisoners and the voices of the unheard in city riots. But he's no less important to my people's history of survival. In 1965, while standing in the middle of scorched, riot-torn Watts, that Georgia preacher's son, who experienced a sharp, radical turn in his outlook that reflected his last 3 years, is now softer and sanitized for everyone's protection. A beloved American black hero without teeth, no longer a threat. No one, that is, no one, who dares to pick up a book can separate the man from the cherished public myth, forever behind the pulpit in Washington, D.C., 1963, addressing anti-racist thousands in a wide field of picket signs and banners, perpetual human paragon of civil rights and only civil rights. I've been to the mountaintop. I have a dream. That poem was called Without Teeth.
No, I just need, is it me?
Cameras. If you get a chance to listen to some of his other speeches when he was in front of small black audiences, the Black Lawyers Guild and what have you. He was from the South and he knew what to say, when to say it. Anyway, enough of that. Thank you, D. So two poems. The first one I want to do is by Cara Lee Sanchez, another person that everybody should know about, but very few do. And those folks of us who do know that she was a major Native American poet. She was a mover and shaker here in the Bay Area. She's responsible for a whole lot of folks, including me being in the school system, Francisco Alacon, Devora Major, Janice Midikitani. I can mention a whole army of folks that you wouldn't have heard of if you hadn't met her work. And she still has a poetry series, the Bay Area collective that is doing Poets Collective every Saturday, first Saturday of the month in Berkeley. You want to know more about that, come and see me after and I'll let you know. But Cara Lee Sanchez, a major mover and a shaker, and very proudly from Laguna Pueblo, New Mexico. Oh, if you want to see a book, I've got it, just in case you want it. They have disappeared me, as they have done to all my ancestors before me. Are you watching? When I wear a modified version of the traditional dress of my Pueblo tribe, it is not familiar to those outside the Southwest, but it is real. Look close. I may vanish before your very eyes. It is not a Pocahontas dress. I do not wear feathers or a headband or beaded moccasins because my tribe does not wear those things. Each tribe adapted various forms of European beads and ruffles and braids that become traditional or ceremonial dress by the late 1700s. But they are Indian because we wear them, because we put them together in a certain way. Are you watching? I may be disappearing right now. It keeps happening when I remind you who I am. And pretty soon you don't see me anymore because I'm a leftover primitive. And you're supposed to feel sorry for me because I am poor and diseased and ignorant and alcoholic and suicidal. You see how it happens? What goes on in your mind when you see any of us wearing our ceremonial dress? We have not been terminated or exterminated. We are here all around you, but you disappear us every day. Are you watching? Cara Lee Sanchez. And one of mine, this is one of mine that some young man asked me to do here, and I notice he's not here, but it's called Soundly Metaphysical. And if you like that, I work with two bands, my band, which is Avacha Modopue, and also with the Electric Squeeze Box Orchestra, 17-piece big band. We have a CD, and I also have that if you want it. And with that, yeah, thank you so much, I agree, but I'm prejudiced. So this is called Soundly Metaphysical, and it was written because the stereotyping that some folks do about all of us artists, we're all a bunch of lazy dope fiends and drunks. And that might have applied to me a long time ago, but I've been clean and sober for 49 years, and I intend to die that way. After we did a gig, this kid came walking up to us and said, "Oh man, with that stuff you're playing, I know where there's some good dope. You know where there's some good dope." And so I wrote a poem, and it's called Soundly Metaphysical. It sounds like this. My music. My music is an orgasmic synonym for all that is real, an organic vibrational healing, a sanctified tone, poem ideal in sound. Call me a metaphysician, a doctor of sound. Another edition on the latter tradition, another one of those trying to be spiritual music nuts. Pushing 100% natural medicine, melodic medicine, a non-toxic cure from B-flat to high C. I got a music Jones that just won't quit. It's a heavy gift, a Zora Neale Hurston, Jose Montoya word song, a gift to lift us. A healthy intoxicant that's stronger than drugs, an ever-expanding, an ever-expanding ritual fix that's everywhere all the time. Music is a song that sings me, that flows through me, the song that is me. Music is the funk in the Joe Cuba tune, Duke Ellington's Mistress, the bee that bites in Betty Carter's bop, the blood in my veins, the heart of every dream I dream, sound so strong I can see it. Can you hear it, feel it? I got to know if you ever even noticed it. Music's calling and calling and calling and calling. It's always talking, calling you calmly, inviting you essentially as a caress, holding you warmly, hauntingly, just desperately like a scream. Music is a unifier, the one sure thing that brings this world together. The only universal language. Music is a brazenly unrepentant flirt, come speaking sweetly, teasing, swinging, and talking jive in every idiom that's ever been. A language so strong even the deaf can taste it. Are you listening? I say, are you listening? It's begging you to heal. Music and the music of the word is medicine. A poetic musician is a traditional healer, and I'm a dealer. I say I'm a dealer, a metaphysician who deals in sound. Medicinal sound. And it's the only high I'm pushing. They say, right now I feel a healing coming on. Anybody out there want some? Woo! So I have CDs if you want it. Also got Cara Lee Sanchez's book.
Yeah! I wonder who's next.
Am I?
Yeah, you're next. And who's after Tony? Is Owen. Owen after Tony. Yeah, just wait till he's. Oh, he's going to set himself up there. Hold on.
Yeah.
Figure out where he is.
I just want
I like to get a head and shoulders shot if I can. If not, and I try to keep other people in the background, sort of, not in. But sometimes you can't. Do that.
Okay.
We don't know.
Well, he's gonna sit.
Yeah, he's gonna.
I'm gonna.
Are you?
I'm gonna stand.
Are you?
Yeah, I'll be right here. Is this okay?
Wait a minute. Just move it like about a quarter inch.
No, wherever you want me, it's fine.
Be nice.
I'm just glad to be here.
He knows everything.
I'm just glad to be here.
Hey.
Wait.
There you go. I picked up the sound.
Oh, nice. It's a Bluetooth speaker?
Sorry.
That's all right.
Sorry. Let's get this right.
We are poets. We're at open mics. We're not that hard to find. We'll massage your temples, touch your hearts, and masturbate your mind. We are poets. We can take pretty words, put them in a poem, and plant a mental seed. Or we can take shitty words when we're filled with rage, put them on a page and make it bleed. We are poets. We can put words together describing an aroma and make you think that page was scented. We are poets. The reason the exclamation point was invented. We write, recite, and perform. We never conform. It's the way we poets know damn well we were born. Pushed out performing and crying since birth, our hearts already broken and torn. But we as poets, we can take pieces of broken words and turn them into spoken words and give a broken heart a fresh new start. Take a young boy's broken dreams and mend them with spoken seams. We are poets, blessed and filled with words. We create with words, relate with words, transform and relocate with words. We say things like 5 times 5 divided by pi equals the number of rainbow stars in the sky. And have you asked why? We are poets. It's simple mathematics times dramatics factored into a poetical third eye. And the answer in the back of your mind's book is even simpler. We are poets. Ay, ay, ay. Love-making, keyboard-breaking, erotic poets. We can make a pen, make love to paper, and make it come. Make words intoxicate your mind like a strong Puerto Rican rum. We are poets. From our hearts the words flow, through our tongues, mouths, and lips the words magically know where to go. In our heads the poets of the dead are awoken. We speak from our hearts with the voice of the broken. We are poets. This much we know. We give birth to words, touch Mother Earth through words, and at open mics open our mouths and pour out our hearts with words. We write, then rewrite, and double check the last rewrite. Cause we know the last rewrite is the one that has to be right. We are poets. We share our breath with words, and we will write and recite till our death with words. We are poets. Thank you.
And I'll leave this here in case someone needs it.
Yeah, just leave it there, we'll figure it out.
Yep. Beautiful.
I like that one.
Thank you.
Yeah, sniff, sniff.
And after Edward, that's his signature. After Owen,
I thought Latinos was.
that's Edward.
After Owen, we have Owen coming up here. Give him a round, please. And after Owen, I'll start talking about the door prizes. Thank God people brought some. I mean, I brought a couple, but they were
I
like,
meant to grab two.
I know, but we'll get Okay, just.
Okay, I'll try to speak up for people who say they can't hear me.
All right. Oh.
This is my latest poem. Choral. 2 enigmas come to rest above the orchard. I say best and worst, there is war and peace. So and more. Yes, more of the same in sustenance to you about sand and surf and libraries that beget more love, and I sat down on my wooden chair. This poem is like the old man in the sea. The old man struggles against the sharks and the nothing of the water and sky, fishing thee. Cold, evening settles, the cold has come. Crisp, Indian summer was unseasonable and warm. It is now chill December, and this is the way it is. Perhaps now it will stay that way. Snow, thank God, is not our thing. Bare bright are the branches. Scare the wits out of children and others that still make and bake their cake. Nerves creep in, but you hope that time will disappear. Fold up and do nothing. Nothing at all. Balls are something to roll. Practice. Learn more and learn all the while. Learn and earn all the while. It is enough at all to smile your way to heaven and all its glory. Shine it on. It's small and worrisome, you should take for granted. There are things to make for all to see. Bake the bread of life. It is enough to shed one's fears of the known and what they know. What they know is like an iron gate of non-headed disbelief. Rock around, cock and dock, rock and roll your way into the next country. Precocity. On the shore the bathers wade far back into the park. Shade is cold, the sun is bright and shallow to the quiet of the sand and the quagmire that is life and liberty and property and the prosperity of the soul. Love finds a way, even in the freezing death from wind and sea. Save, throw up a stone. Last stand. Yesterday the stands were aglow with cheering and madness, a flow of booze and heads in the crowd. Many faces with a sameness about them. Flowers, away with men. Showers are on the way in another month or two. You smother your feelings of cold and boredom. Of course it is the end game and the result of all mankind, its foibles and trials. Football, the result of years of strife and travail. Sacred grounds. Ow! Sunrise, surprise, see all who bear up under our screw and work. All under our plunder and blunder into the valley. Asunder and wander and wonder, there is out there and out there. Why and woo the yoke of rhyme. I'm riding underneath a snow at sunrise. The sky is dark, like a wall of cement. Poema. This life, I live to live and love as best I can. I jive myself, but I wonder about people I meet, not asunder, but keep tight rambling a class of myself about myself. Bay Area, the comings and doings of people, all of whom come above me, all of them. My poem breaks for the pole like free verse, free at last. Rhymes come and go, they clang like Poe, drunk and mystic of American life and letters. Prose is like an albatross, a goony bird. It begins awkwardly on the ground, but once in the air it takes off and soars gracefully above us. Halloween poem. Halloween is 2 days ahead. Trick or treat. I feel no dread of people, children, adults dressed to kill. A pumpkin is blessed, a gap-toothed jack-o'-lantern glowing against a full moon. Flowing karma almost like a Van Gogh painting, a starry night. Row ahead, you intrepid yuppies. But I ask, where is the shore? Our overweight coxswain Donald Trump lays low and hopes for the best. Stroke, the witching hour is far and near.
Thank you, Mr. Owen.
Thank you very much.
Edward, and then Tommy.
Tommy.
All right.
I'm here.
The honorary and quite mature Edward Haiku, whose lauds would be lengthy, so I shall not endure my impatience with them here.
Okay.
That didn't make sense, I don't think.
Not at all.
Thank you.
But you're a poet. You're a poet.
Thank you, dear.
Yeah,
Let's
you're
get-
not
let's get a
required.
little closer.
You are a poet.
Yes. There we go.
Caroline Dumbbell. Edith says, as my father used to say, paper is very patient. You can write anything on it. It will not complain. And while no island, conversely, is a man, a corporation is one legally to the confident point of business rights, but not yet to preemptory voting, is a man. Richard Steger says that dumbbell is the word of the age of Trump dotards, in all directions, backward diagonally. Death is knocking on my door, I think, when I get a pain, and it's more than a twinge and persists and it doesn't desist and go outside, so I take a pill, then another. The heroic quest that is distinguished and broad with, as Harry S. Truman said, the creation of a myth and the invention of a devil, repeating the big lie until it becomes an article of political faith as smooth as the varnish on a concert piano. On the time when others are sawing wood and the termites are eating it, hunger is, well, first things first. Not sex, not shelter. You live, learn, and still and all, we knock on wood because you're never too old to step up to the plate. But you have to prioritize, especially if you are a vegetarian as big as a reindeer. From the get-go, when you are beating the tom-tom for dinner, you don't shilly-shally or you're so full of beans though it's no skin off your teeth. And as for the freeloaders with time passing, for anyone who knows his onions, those layabouts will soon learn a new rite of passage when they are deader than a doornail, okay? Plants eat plants, animals eat plants and other animals, but do plants eat other plants? Fungi? Huh? Plants? Geez, Louise, you say it's screwy Louie as far as the eye can see. But still and all, you really need to know just this, that time flies, enter the ointment, because if it isn't omnivory or carnivory, it's herbivory and a herd of hippos. Ongoing the Thanksgiving Moonstone Dreams. Putting all our words together nightly makes it seem there are diamonds within deep, dark alleys of broken glass, through those sunken and narrow lanes in sleep, when we are the outsiders and outlaws in this global village commons, deepening roots as memories press up, thinning, then thickening, lights floating, moons seeing our world in unfinished symphony, while a sea change is rising, with consciousness sledding in longing, drifting twilight from milky moonstone dreams orbiting about Alabama moons, making waves circulating this Thanksgiving time. And to finish, Comcast, AT&T, AAA, PG&E, Visa, Haiku. That's a modern.
Right, modern haiku.
And Tommy's next. Tommy. And after Tommy is Robert Rubin.
Just put the she listened, yeah, that's what
Give the man a round of applause, please. Come on, let's take it up around here. Tired of having to do the whole thing yourself. Tommy, have a color bigger.
Tommy!
Shh. Okay.
Fundamentalists always talk of
practicing homosexuals. But what's a non-practicing homosexual? A vice president? Where, did I just out him? No. Where do practicing homosexuals go to practice? A gym? A YMCA? A church choir? Do they need a degree like practicing attorneys before they can drop their briefs?
That's a word.
Hilarious.
How long do they have to practice before they're a bona fide homosexual?
Bona fide.
Is a name for a screaming queen. Was Lauren Bacall trying to out Humphrey Bogart when she told him, "You know how to whistle, don't you? You just put your lips together and blow." How come there are no practicing heterosexuals? Or maybe they're in the closet. Someone should tell them there's nothing to be ashamed of. After all, practice makes perfect. I know, it's good to make fun of those folks, but they're really dangerous.
Yeah.
But you gotta laugh at them because they are really so ridiculous. On a more serious topic. Burned. She was found burned in her car. Burned beyond recognition in Florida, 30 miles from home, sleeping in her car, hoping to get to Atlanta where she thought she'd be safe. Scared of threats on Facebook, harassed because of the way she dressed, who she was. The 18th trans woman murdered this year. 17 of them black, like her. Only 23 when she was found in her car, body burned beyond recognition, trying to get to Atlanta where she thought she'd be safe. And finally, in this poem I use a word, omerta, which is a Southern Italian word for code of silence. And I'm not talking in the sense of the mafia and all that crap. In my family, growing up in a Southern Italian immigrant family, omerta meant you did what happened in the family stayed in the family. Omerta. Papa's greatest fear was that I tell family secrets, violate omerta, the code of silence, that bound me like a chain of DNA. The Italian version of "don't eat the apple." Writing was a waste of time, he said. He never read books, only the daily paper that was dropped on our doorstep every afternoon. His world was gasoline and grease and the guts of cars he viewed under the lift. A surgeon, he could poke and prod and make an engine purr. He couldn't stop me from pounding out poems on the old Underwood Mama never used, hiding them in my drawer, eventually publishing them in the neighborhood weekly. I was so proud. But Papa never said a word. His silence was the worst punishment. Thank you.
How many ever call them niggers? And now Robert and Rubino coming back the
Yeah, I'm gonna go here. Yeah, 'cause that's, yeah.
Ode to Floyd Patterson, 1935 to 2006. You got knocked down 22 times, which might be okay for a punch-drunk palooka. Thing is, you got up every time. Okay, almost every time. And often got up and won. You were no palooka. Inspiration to bullied boys everywhere, that's what you were. Highly skilled fighter, that's what you were. Fast fists, fleet feet, leaping left hook, peekaboo defense. At 21, youngest to become heavyweight champion of the world, knocking out old man Archie Moore, the legendary Mongoose, round 5. First to regain the title, prevailing over Johansson in thrilling trilogy. You might have been robbed of an improbable 3rd title, but no complaints. Blame game beneath you, and that too was an inspiration. Despite distinguished career spanning 3 decades, you're lost in boxing history's fading footnotes. Maybe because your reign got so quickly overshadowed, nearly erased, by the self-acclaimed uppercase, greatest of all time. Or maybe because you had hell of a tough act to follow. Marciano, the undefeated, undisputed real-life Rocky, who might have been merely the lowercase greatest of all time. Your decency rang as clear and true as an opening round bell, humble in triumph, conciliatory toward fallen foes. Humiliated in defeat, you donned disguises that failed to cover your soul-shaking shame after Liston KO'd you in the 1st round, twice. As 2-time former champ, you answered the savage sadism of Ali with misguided masochism, twice. But you marched with MLK, you met with JFK, and in an emerging era of amplified trash-talking jibber-jabber, you honored your much maligned sport. You respected all fighters at all times, held your dignity high and your profile low, unplugged, under the radioactive bombast, unbowed. Victory over myself. What a curious title that was for your autobiography. A genuinely nice guy in a badass racket. Genuinely gentlemanly, which is to say, a gentleman, which is to say, manly, truly. Thank you.
If anybody wants to find more information about the fight, there's a book called Smoketown. It's got a lot of information on how beautiful he was and what a trap he got caught in. So.
Yeah, so check that out. Check many things out. She has. How many? Yes, dear. Oh, thank you. Sorry about that. Well, I'm going to change it up a little bit. I'm going to be reading a few pieces by Rosemary Ibarra Garcia, Blue Maze. She was featured here a while back and had a chance to get to look through this, and I found a few pieces that I thought are interesting. This is called Counting. One by one, fireflies evoke a shift in time. Wings flutter, each trill a microsecond. Untouched thoughts disappear into a swirl of branches. One by one, years flit by into beads of consciousness. I count drips of water as they fall from the garden faucet. I should rise from this bench, run through my lists. Instead, I linger in this world of dragonflies fluttering back and forth, a spider spinning its web, 2 birds quarreling over dinner. This is Ocean. Sand caresses my heels, runs through my toes, surrounds my ankles. As I reach the water, the ocean encases my feet, studies them for silver scales, fins, bulging eyes. It is irrelevant that I am a finless creature. The sea will accept me if I enter its blue reach and will slowly devour me, for it is, as I am, a thing that devours. We have this in common. I am a nematode-like creature, burrowing into the earth's breath, tipping its axis. And this final piece of hers, the wick of us, W-I-C-K, wick of us. Fire on blackness. Candles lead us through a labyrinth of darkness. Horizontal or vertical, flames seek sky. Softly light, a dinner for two, a dark hallway. Braided knives cut through folded thoughts, show the way to the light. At their final breath, smoldering wicks, like us, balance between extinction and redemption. Thank you.
Rosemary Ibarra Garcia.
Her name again.
Oh, Rosemary Ibarra Garcia. Very good. All right, and then we have Bruce.
Hey.
And give this man a round of applause. You're an upcoming teacher, aren't you?
January.
In January, he'll be one of the Mr. Fessenden, I call him because that's his name.
That's me. I wrote a couple of poems about my mother and my mother's mother. This one's called Frida. My mother's mother was a gentlewoman. I remember her deep-set brown eyes. She had a hearing aid like a little microphone, all that was available in the 50s. She had her hearing aid as long as I can remember. Her hearing impaired by typhoid fever is the story I was told. An uneducated woman living in a rooming house. As a boy, I felt we were connected close. Two quiet souls filled with empty time and the occasional unfriendly ghost. When in high school, I'd drive her to her solitary room in my father's forest green sports car. He never gave her a single penny. He was blind in so many ways. Often I wonder why a few rise up while the others struggle and fall. Hands of the clock easily seen, but the inner gears remain hidden. I've heard it said, broken ones of this world sacrifice themselves. Discarded fruit enriching the soil. She liked menthol cigarettes and dime store crime novels. Who was the kindly elementary school teacher who taught her how to read? Welfare checks and food stamps, TV in the lobby, bathroom and showers at the end of the hall. The last 40 years of her life spent in that solitary room with her paperbacks, her cigarettes, her silence. For the forgotten ones, it's almost a blessing to be so broken and disassociated from their grief. She lived her life a little bit stunned. In that way, we are so much alike. There was not a single instance her entire life when my father realized that she actually existed. It's October now, my favorite time of year, angle of the sun, so sublime. I don't even have a photo of her. My memory of her face grows hazy in my mind. Too many people never find their place, punch the clock, ground up for fodder. A choir sings sweetly from the other side of the horizon. I stand tall and take the next step. I don't have a title for this one yet. Really, only a few words matter. The truth about truth is that it so easily shifts into something else. I don't want any crap now. I'm not in the mood for the candy of appearances. One last cigarette, then up against the wall, Colonel drops his hand and the shots ring out. In that last instant, I remember the shape of your hands as you held your coffee cup. I wonder what Mom was thinking on her final day, her final hour. She believed in love. She sacrificed herself. Always helpful, always a friend, yet only emptiness forever mirrored back. Just a child wandering the alien road, no guide, no directions, no map. I'm a fallow field, a fertile darkness. I still have my moments with my fragile toys. Inside my fissures and caverns and tiny hollow places, I soak up the moments offered to me by the plants and the trees. When I notice the land, I notice myself. You can look too hard when searching for the redeeming. Too much force gonna bust up your pots. Conflict, disappointment, boredom, rejection. You signed up for all that and more when you agreed to come into this world. All you do seems to fall a little short, a testament to the depth of your precious longing. Inside your eyes, your fragile heart, there is a ripening within the land. It's a quiet and tender commerce, this braiding, threads of the past, threads of the future, yeast of the bread silently rising. You love to dance, Mom. Cats and dogs had a place in the world, curled up in your arms in the folds of your lap. I trip over stairs. I lack the capacity to see, a lonely dancer in the palace of mottled light. A soft and hidden wildness, random socks at the bottom of the drawer. I'm just a continuation of you. Too many peaks, too many valleys. Better oil my wind-up spring. I'm running out of time. I forgive you, Mom, for leaving too soon. You carried more than your fair share. Let's put away our bullets and polish our glasses. Our connection was always there.
Thank you. Well, the president coming back in January at least. A teacher, so now, speaking of a teacher, now I get to do my favorite.
One of my favorite things to do here is talk like this. No, it's not really. I don't talk like that. I could talk like that though, but then you'd think, who is that man and why is he talking like that? I'm a schizophrenic actually. I have many voices that I could use, but I stay with this one because it's the voice of sanity. I'm going to introduce the feature, Mr. Richard Sanderell. A couple of tiny stories here to embarrass him completely. He's not paying attention, so I can say whatever I want. That's my golden rule. When he first showed up here, he was in the company of two other men, and I didn't think they were going to be participants in the open mic. I was wrong about that. Then he got up and read, and I was really impressed. I said, wow, what a guy, what a poet. And I thought he'd been writing for a long, long time. I was wrong about that. There's a couple other things I was wrong about. I thought he was an Irish Italian, at least at first. For some reason, I don't know. That just went to my hide, but I was wrong about that. But he's been here and coming very regularly for many years now, and he does wow-type things. If you want to know what's wrong with this country, you can ask him. He'll tell you. The Usan Empire, I like that term, USA, or the Usan Empire. I just call it godforsaken shithole, but, you know, that's me. Anyway, so rather than listen to me, you're going to be listening to him. Now, he has special things planned, so it's not just going to be him. He has Richard Sanderell and friends, so you're going to
get that underway, and we'll get ourselves organized, and you will be wowed and amazed by what's about to transpire before your very amazed eyes. Give them a round, come on, let's go. Come on.
Is the stand in your way? The music stand? Is it in Louis' way?
We're going to do it about 10 minutes in. We're going to do it 10 minutes into.
Okay.
Okay. Where's a good place for Louis to sit? Where's a good place for Louis to sit?
Well, so
I can move.
we decided.
I'll move it. Are you going to be up there, Chuck?
So if you stay there, then we'll figure
move
that
this up a little more?
Yeah, you can do what you want. Once you're where you are, we'll
I want to
focus
give him
this in.
space.
Space.
Because I'm going to have 2 more people come up later.
All right. Okay, we'll get this organized. See, I'm moving this around just for your wherewithal and benefit.
Oh, good. Look out for him.
Watch the cable.
Yeah, get the stand up.
And,
Hallelujah! I'm a I'm sorry.
all right. Well, hello, everybody. I want to, as they're getting things together here.
Oh, yeah.
Are we plugged in? Hello?
Okay, hold on. They might have come unplugged down there. The plug is out.
I see you.
Der Plug hat geaußenmacht.
Where's the plug?
I tried to say the plug is out, but I don't know all the words for that.
Find it?
Oh yeah, let me in. I'm the expert.
Is it in?
Don't do this.
Hello,
at home.
it's in.
Oh, it's in. All right. There we go.
Don't do this at home. I think that's what he tried to say. All right. I want to thank everybody for coming. I want to introduce to you Greer Rockette. He has a past. Believe me, he has a past for some of the greatest. Count Basie being one. The man behind me, another man with a past. Louis Romero. Celia Cruz. Hector Lavoe, Willie Colon, and on. Latin All-Stars. And so I'll start this as I always do. Just because you steal something doesn't mean you own it. This is still Indian country, and you live.
It's going to be Gringo Gets Mad, sort of. You get the flavor. All right. Gringo Gets Mad. One must be aware what one says to Gringo. They react badly to news about themselves. It must be said in positive tones. They really do get upset. Gringo can do no wrong. They claim they're like everybody else. When they see city parks devoid of everyone but Gringo, they see nothing wrong. They claim no special privileges. You make a fatal mistake when you approach them. They're happy before you talk to them. You point out that things you say about the Gringo, you can say of some authority, me being Gringo. Just here, around the orb. Most don't say it, but believe it. A great dispossessing began here when Gringo came with greed, religion. They've been millions upon millions who have disappeared, dispossessed. We're here in another great dispossessing. Gringo's at the forefront once again, along with their great pretenders, allies. When I came to San Francisco, I saw dispossessing of elder poor, south of Market. The death of what had the cast of great, their joy, struggle, art, theater, determination, became white picket fences, gays hawking for empire. But never tell gay Gringo they're racist. They get mad. I would suggest they talk to the black, red, brown, and yellow communities historians of these times. You know, those communities where gringos don't live next door to. The slow dispossessing of Alcatraz by lack of support by the gringo community, but they were never able to kill that spirit. Look around to these places we call valleys of silicone, if white privilege isn't on display as always. What? No one else can be part of your clique? When you need someone outside the group, you can always pilfer other countries' best minds. Gringo lives in housing where former tenants are ousted, expelled for higher rents, or housing torn down, replaced with Emeryville-style housing with them in mind. Gringo wants to eat all kinds of cultural food, so long as those cultures aren't there. A little bit like a Latin American culture club, where anyone there but them. Gringo never sees the death, destruction, so they have nothing to worry about or feel bad about. The gringo never understands. The same fate awaits them. When the powers that no longer needs the loosened empire, the gringo's ranking may take a fall. The gringo's attitude is here as I read this. And gringo, the Wahichu, one who takes the best meat, doesn't like it.
Louis, can you move to this side so I can get you more in visually there?
Should I move?
No, you're good. I just want to see that way I got your full face. There we go. Everything's good right now.
All right, Louis, this is about the drum.
All right.
All right. Okay, there is a drum. When I hear the drum, heartbeat, 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 I hear the drum of the indigenous heart sounds of the people from Turtle Island. Listen to the heart, it is the rhythm of life, humanity's beat. Listen to the Yoruba drummers, shakers, see who's left not dancing, shaking. Reach, stretch yourselves, feel the joy of mind, body in ecstasy. You know, things black robes call sinning. That's what they're here for your dishes of fear. Hatred of the other is a cold, cold dish, best served to non-believers who reject these fearmongers and their destructive behaviors. Adios, bye-bye, haters of humanity. I listen to the heartbeat, 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 heartbeat.
You learned it.
Yes, you tell her.
Right?
All right, and talk about mentors.
Yeah.
Dreams of trees. Trees bend with wind to dance in place, strengthen their fiber. They stretch, bend in shapes, malleable, healthy as trees should. They put on a show for those who see, mostly each other. Most are oblivious to our rooted family. Trees in the city lack individual character, bred for sameness, uniformity in buildings, people. Individuality always brings problems. Trees in the country, you know, the wild ones, have their individuality. These trees, if put somewhere else, are recognizable, but as their city cousins remain one-footed, grounded. During the night at dream time, trees twist themselves free of soil. Roots become tiny feet, allowing walk, dance. They travel in dreams to raise the alarm. Trees tell us they are too important for slaughter, fiber, paper, houses. You can no longer abuse. As they walk, dance, they drop their seeds to fertilize, to grow new forest around our disk of life. This is our best last chance. Trees will continue to hold the soil, take our carbon, and give us breath, yield fruit, but abused by the two-legged must cease. Fail to listen, you will remain breathless, wondering why the earth slips away beneath your feet and no longer fruit to be eaten. As I awoke, I am unclear. Was this my dream or the dreams of trees? All right. Guys, we're going to try something with backup. So just for a moment, we're going to change. Space. All right, if I, guys? Yeah, just for a moment. Thank you. You're welcome. Great job, by the way. Thank you. This is an older poem. Performance. Oh, yes, thank you. Yeah, I'm going to say that first. This style that I'm about to read, I wrote this poem a long time ago. But we're going to do it. I'm inspired, always been inspired by the last poets.
Oh, yes.
So I hope I'm going to do my job and do right by everybody. And I'm so lucky to have Dee Allen and Tony Alderaan behind me. They turned us into cowboys and Indians. As a young man, I wanted to be and believed in Indians. Later, as that same young man, the empire drafted me and turned me into a cowboy. I became a cowboy for their Christ and their true God, money. When I look into the mirror, I see an American killer killing for the empire. We made wars against the Indians because they had what all empires wanted: resources. America's wars have always been about cowboys and Indians. Ask the Indian with the blues who struggles for their own survival. Testify with strong flavor and color of sadness.
Ask the Indians with the blues.
Their blood spilled on the soil of Turtle Island is the same as on the soils of Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos for my generation, and later Afghanistan and Iraq, and all the other wars in between.
With the blues.
Bullets in the heart, soul, brain. Yet our wars with Native people goes on today. In our current wars, our military still makes cowboys, but in this empire, its citizenry have become the Indian. This empire no longer needs you, and its only strong point is its military. So we became the world's killers. We sit, watch our children being made.
We sit, watch our children being maimed.
Killed, some so damaged they killed themselves rather than to live the things they never thought they could or would do. I myself thought it as an escape, but decided never to shut my mouth to the truth of these killings. There is a mother who reads
her dead son's poems.
Her dead son's poems.
They tell his truths. It is what he left behind after taking his life from the euphemism PTSD. One sees her pain, hint of tears that will last her a lifetime, as well as his father's brothers. As he identified with Native heritage, as well as his Filipinos, he tried to find ways to survive, but his pain was too great. He needed to know we needed him to be the warrior for truths he held.
Goodbye, sweet warrior. We will not forget.
Goodbye, sweet warrior. We will not forget.
Yes, so see.
An affirmation. This piece is dedicated to the Ruben and Paula Santos family and their son, Ruben Chip Santos.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
All right. How much time have I got?
You're at like 9 minutes, 8 minutes on.
Oh, absolutely, I do want you back in. God, what would I do with that? I could read the phone book and you could take this out. Oh, it's true.
It is true.
All right. This is going to be about black robes, judges, and the short ones, sort of in and out.
Oh, he's trying to get your attention to move forward.
Just rear move. There you go. There you go. That's good. Now I got all three.
All right, this is called Black Robes. I dedicate this to the Catholics and judges. Black robes make the rules, brings religion. Black robes enforce black robes, rulers with their judgments. Religion befriends empires. Empires befriend religion when convenient. So the dog chases its tail around and around and around they all go. Wee, wee, wee. This incestuous marriage continues for those who believe. For us who believe the marriage is illegitimate, not so much. So everyone, thank them for both for bringing us sin and legitimizing it. For them, ovations please, ovations please, ovations please.
Are you in the middle of a piece? You got to plug that back in.
Hello?
Yeah, so we got to plug that.
Yeah.
Just got on.
Do over.
I think they were heard, but it's like, but you know.
I did it.
Now that we have a spot to do it, I see. Thank you for that. I hadn't noticed it.
Yeah. I don't know if I would have been.
Oh, the one on the floor. The one on the floor. That's
Get my flashlight and I don't have it with me. See it?
right.
Hello.
There you go. Now we're cooking with gas.
Gas? Everybody get out of the building! All right.
Take it from ovation.
Well, let's lighten it up a little bit. This is called Sister Moon Slips into Morpheus. In flight, Sister Moon slips into Morpheus as she glides across the darkened cobalt blue sky. Below, lights from the mother reflect twinkles of stars. The Milky Way slashes across the dome sky as the universe is with all its stars as backdrop. On the ground, away from city lights, looking at the dome sky, falling rocks burn as saints flow from east to west. People there know their place in our bubbled universe. Flora, fauna, talk to each other in the night, looking for love, food under the vaulted sky. In the cities, people rush around looking for love, food under the same arched roof. Above, most see only the moon, planets, and Orion, with the 3 stars of Sirius, the largest light of stars. City people believe they are the center of the universe and are unaware of their position in the real bubble. Most seldom ever touch the earth unless it's in the city park. They have no real relationship with flora, fauna. City people, know your place. Another short one. Fun. Jesus wear.
Oh, Jesus, oh my God.
Many new products come out in USA daily. I've made some slogans to sell for a yet unborn product. One would be Jesus wear. You put it on and you go, ooh, Jesus. Bringing back cloaks purple will be the color of Jesus wear for the royal pain. Even in a so-called Christian country, if money can be made, we sell. Just ask reverends, priests, bishops, cardinals, popes about selling. Fashion. It's good to look good so people will want to have sex with you. Looking so good in those vestments. Jesus wear that denies pedophilia, crooked banking procedures, cruelty, genocide. After all, Jesus tells the truth according to Paul, whose church it really is. Perhaps we should call Christmas Paulists. Yes, Jesus wear. Wear it. Fill it with guilt, pride, deflated. But oh, how good it feels. Ooh, Jesus.
Jesus wear. Love to your brothers. My skin seam has been repaired.
Who says you're going to slash their wrist when they listen to me? All right. All right, I'll just do this short when you get out. This is about Miles. Miles says, don't call it jazz, Miles says. But they kept calling it jazz. As the album cover read, new directions in music. Didn't that give them the hint? In Rolling Stone, Miles says he could put the best rock and roll band together ever. Most didn't notice when he did it. He rolled, roiled, boiled, swirling, luring, exploring, practicing, then letting go. In what people heard as chaos were great ballads and cries of blues, all that came from down to the earth music. Only that clarion call from the trumpet soared above as rhythms below supported, percolated, scratched, tickled. With the influence of Sly Stone, Jimi Hendrix, and his own musical black background, mixed it and gave us music not heard before. As Miles said, if you don't like it, don't listen. But many did, and there was a new generation listening, discovering Miles' album called On the Corner. Street music, bluesy, funky, invites. Meet us on the corner. Thank you.